Cincinnati's ready for the Big 12. It was time for them.
I am fired up.
It's a blessing to be able to be in this league with y'all, putting on for UC.
Cincinnati, a basketball school.
And there he goes. Touchdown! Bearcats!
Raquama again. Another slam inside.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the GoBeercats podcast. He's Darin, I'm Brandon, and we are here to talk some Bearcats hoops. I'm excited. Number one, because we're winning again, Darin. We're winning again. We're on the bubble, hardcore. Are we in trouble? We're going to find out. We're going to find out because there's games left to be played. Until we get into all that, though, Darin, how's it going, sir?
It's going good. We both sound like we're doing better in the upper respiratory area. Good to finish the weekend on a win. So things are looking up. A little bit of sunshine coming through. So
it is. I thought it was going to be a little warmer today, but it's all right. There is sunshine. I have a voice for the first time in over a week. I can breathe well. I'm going to be able to taste this beer fully as we sit here and talk some Bearcat sports today. So let's just do it, Darin. It is, like we said, the sun is shining. It is almost. We'll go ahead and we'll call it. We'll say it is officially Bock season here. I went with the Madtree Guten Bock today, of course, brought to you by the Delhi Liquor Store. It's where I picked up a whole 6-pack of this. One of my favorite doppelbocks that they throw out here in the city. So I'm going to be keeping warmer with this here today. What do you got in your cup over there? I know you got something.
Just some agua. A little bit behind. Inside baseball. I woke up not too long ago, so can't really throw beer in the belly just yet without anything in the stomach. So, yeah.
I woke up and I was feeling pancakes this morning, so I made my wife some pancakes. So got a solid base there for this this beer that we won't say what time we're recording today, but it's early.
Yeah.
And after this, my goal here is to reorganize the basement, which is where the studio is here. So we'll just keep this thing rolling into a nice little afternoon.
Sounds right.
Hell yeah. Let's last time we were together, which wasn't that long ago, we did a full episode dedicated to baseball. If you've not checked that out yet, that'll be up all season. Baseball season is just getting kicked off. Go listen to that episode. We're still working on getting it some of the roster deep dive in that you put together for us. We're working on getting that on the website. Hopefully that'll be resolved sooner than later. Technology is not cooperating with us completely, but check out that episode so you can sort of learn the ways of college baseball with us. Right? We're certainly no experts on the realm of college baseball, but we're working on it. So check that out. I did some work and Darin did a whole lot of work putting that together. So check that out. And in the meantime, if we would have recorded this late last week, Darin, we would have probably not been in a very good moods. We'd come off of back-to-back top 10 home losses to the likes of Houston and Iowa State. Things were looking kind of bleak for us until we go down to Orlando and pull off I don't want to call it a miracle of a game, but it's the next best thing for a must win. Let's go back to last week. Let's start and let's talk. We have a whole lot to get into. We got performance. This is going to be a loaded episode here. Let's start back at Houston. Number 5 Houston in Fifth Third Arena for the first time since we've joined the Big 12 with them. We take a 5-point loss in a roller coaster of a game.
Yeah. You want to play. I mean, with those home games, those are the ones you want to win, especially in the Big 12, because winning away, as everyone has said at this point, and be the points of death, it's not easy. Obviously Houston has just been a complete team for half a decade at this point, pushing a decade now.
Yeah,
so they've
buddy.
been ready for this transition to the Big 12. But we were hanging with them. I'd say midway through about the 12th to 11th minute or so, it was more so we were kind of hanging on not to get put out of the game.
In the second half.
In the second half.
Yeah, like with the game they started out with, we spotted them like 12 points. It looked like it was going to be a 30-point blowout of the John Brandon era type of game. And then the defense sort of stepped up. The last 4 minutes of the first half, we looked great. We couldn't buy a bucket. They couldn't hit water if they fell out of a boat. I'll credit our defense to a lot of that. We went on a tear where we were able to get to the bucket and find our way offensively. And at halftime, we are feeling really good about this game, especially considering how bad the game started off with some just all around terrible performance.
Yeah, I mean, and it wasn't a case of like our some of our bigger weaknesses. It wasn't like we turned the ball over more, but it wasn't one of those 15, 20 anomaly turnover games. Dan Skilling showed up, when we needed him. We just really kind of fell short. We didn't shoot great from the 3-point line, just a little bit better than them. 23s though attempts, 6 of those made. 3 of their 16. So it's not like we weren't in similar boats at that point. We just made a few more to to kind of ultimately help keep it close. We shot all right from the free throw line. Could have done a little bit better.
72%. I'll take that from this team.
Yeah, 70. Absolutely. You always wonder where the points could have come from. And that that could have made the difference. Maybe a few of some better shot selection within that mid second quarter stretch. But again, you play what ifs, the same can be said for them. So I think they just kind of outlasted us at the end of the game there.
I have to say, it's well documented. I was not shy about sharing this. The seats I had for the Houston game was, check it off the bucket list type of seats. Row 1, right behind the Houston bench.
Mm-hmm.
That experience in and of itself was phenomenal. The only way it could have got better was if we'd have beat Houston.
Yeah.
Mr. Kelvin Sampson, he did not have his shirt tucked in once he came out of the tunnel, and he knew that I thought he looked sloppy. I asked him on numerous occasions to tuck his shirt in. He refused to listen, and it was overall phenomenal experience. The size of these guys on the court, it does not look the same.
No.
If you were setting up upper decker like normal, these guys are giant down there. And the game is so much more physical up close as well. These guys, all of them take a beating as soon as they step inside that 3-point line. And it's pretty crazy to see the difference there with what, just the different vantage points. But you were right. I think they went up 10. Houston went up 10 with about it was less than 10 minutes to go, I know for sure. And their entire not their entire coaching staff, but several of them looked into the stands and said, "This one's over." They didn't like this one's over. And we took offense to that. Coomer definitely let them know what he thought about it being over. And as it was, right down to the final minutes, I think they threw on UC threw on a press. They got a dunk off of that to sort of seal it. But how hard they played and how they are right there with the number 5 team in the country is, I thought it was a great sign of what this team can do. And you look at the box score, you got 3 different guys with over 10 points. I think Newman had a good game. That one, I think he had 10, and then Jizzle was like, I mean, Samson talked about him a lot in the press
Yeah.
conference afterwards. He definitely showed off what he was capable of. And of course, our main man, Dan, doing Dan Skilling things. I think he led the way for us that game, which it's kind of nice that, I mean, in the last, I don't know how many games, Darren, you could like 5, 6, 7 games. Skillings has been pretty consistent in being that guy that can go get a bucket off of an offensive rebound, take it to the hole. His 3-point shooting seems like he's taking better shots like from the 3. It's not that his shots have started falling at a better clip, but he is taking the better shots, the more open. He's not forcing 3-pointers or anything like that. He's taking great shots to make himself look like a better 3-point shooter. So I think we'll circle back to Dan later, but definitely this stretch here and the Houston game, definitely he shined as well. We got to go back. We play them again here in our final stretch, and we'll talk about that. But man, I'd love to have that game. We owe Houston a loss. I don't know, when's the last time we beat them. I don't even remember.
I looked it up and I instantly lost it again. But it had been a while. It's been
at least 5 years.
Yeah,
because Brandon never beat them. Man, yeah, I mean it might be going on 6 years now since we beat Houston in a basketball game. That's tough.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's funny because they've lost to us overall more than we've won, but just their tear they have been on has been ridiculous. And no, it actually hasn't been. I guess it's been pushing almost 5 years. It's close. It was in the 2019 season, 2020.
Okay,
they lost away to us. Is what it was. I want to say it was like 60 something. We barely beat 64-62. So that was all the way in 2019-2020 season. So 2020 in February, right before the old panorama ding dong took us all out. And then they got us right back later that season, like March 1st. And then they went on a tear since then and just turned into a powerhouse. So, yeah.
Last note I want to throw out here, and I just want to throw out some foreshadowing, if you will. In that Houston game, Vic Locken 0 for 3, and I believe all 3 of his shots were from beyond the arc, and his minutes were severely limited in this game. 13 minutes for Vic on a total of 0 for 4 shooting. He had 3 from beyond the arc and one inside there. That's we'll talk more about that later.
Yeah.
But that's a glaring box score sort of stat to look at there. More on that later, though. I don't have anything else here on Houston. It was a phenomenal game. Thank you, Dr. Dave and Mary, for hooking me up with those tickets. I hope Dr. Dave comes through again.
Yeah.
I think he could. So we'll see. We'll see if we're back courtside. I went up to I saw T-Nell putting his headset on, and we'll talk about T-Nell here in a little bit as well. But him and he's a decently good friend of mine. I consider him a friend. I don't know if he considers me a friend, but I went up to him as he's putting his headset on. I was like, T-Nell. Oh, he's like, hey, what's up, B? How you doing? I was like, dude, they let me in the front row for this game. And he's like, oh my God, they did not. I was like, yeah, dude, it's going to be awesome. He's like, did you pay for those tickets? It's like, hell no. Come on, Terry.
Yeah, we're not of that.
I was like, you sold me my house. You know how much money I make. Come on now. So it was a good time. I hope to one day get back that close to the action again. Let's go into Iowa State here because things did not
glamorous.
A little less glamorous. It's just like they were beating us over the head from the get-go here. We almost broke a record for most turnovers in a game. I won't say almost, but we approached it. I think the record was 31. We had 25 turnovers in this game.
Yeah.
And it was brutal.
It's funny. We had 25 turnovers, but out-rebounded them also.
What in the world?
Shot actually pretty solid for, I don't say complete. It's not where shoot 50%, but like 39, pushing 40% free throw shooting or 3-pointer shooting. And almost more out of survival than
Yeah.
just being hot at that point. It just was not a great game. And like you tell yourself that when a team starts pulling away like that, because we stood with them. It wasn't the normal we go down like 10-12 to start the game, or we go up 10 and blow a lead. Like we were trading blows there for a bit to start.
We were
the
right
game.
there with them, despite having like 9 turnovers in the first like 12 minutes or something like that.
And they settled into the game, but we didn't. And they just pulled away. The bleeding did not stop. We were lucky to be within 10.
That's what I was about ready to say. The game was not as close as the score shows.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like they beat us by like 25, 30 points, and 9 or whatever it is. We were lucky that the box score shows that, because it did not seem like that if you watched the game.
No, not at all. Like I said, we're lucky to be within 10 to go into half.
Mm-hmm.
And when you go into half like that, the idea is, okay, well, you better get hot to start the second half. Shut them down, pull within 5 or so. And that just didn't happen either. They just poured it on, and it was not fun to watch. You felt like you were bleeding watching the bleeding on the screen there. It just, as good as Jizzle is, it's crazy that your freshman is the one attempting to be the spark plug in that game. As good as he is, as much latent, latent talent he has, that's not what you want to see, especially if you're just someone watching the box score. That's not something you want to see when you look back at this game. Is that your freshman was the dude that game, and he got time in that. We'll talk a little bit more about him too a little bit later.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
But they just beat the snot out of us. Iowa's they're not they're not top 10 for nothing at that point. You kind of heard a lot of people say at the end of that, well, it was a top 10 team, and that what did you expect to happen? And it's like, well, we're definitely capable of having a better game than that. You may not win, but if the logic is going to be, it's like, oh, what did you expect to happen? It's a top 10 team. Then how far along are we in this project? If that's the consensus.
That's not the. Houston. We played. Maybe it was a little bit of a Houston hangover. I think we had that before when we played Houston. A very emotional, hard fought game. Then we turned around a couple of days later and play another great team in Iowa State. But that's not the first top 10 team that we played. BYU was 12 when we beat them. Mm-hmm. Houston, we played closer. Kansas, we played closer at Fog Allen. So I don't buy that. I think they just came in and with a like a game plan to make our inexperienced guards work as hard as possible.
Yeah. And
they said, we're going to really put these dudes to the test and see what they're capable of. And people that we asked to take care of the ball could not do that in any way, shape, or form. Kind of exposing that young experience there at point guard or anyone that's we've asked to handle the ball this year. People were really upset about this game. Like, oh, our roster's this and the team is this. Like, I think Iowa State just came in very prepared for the game and exposed a weakness that we all knew that we had. Like, I'm not like, of course I want to win the game, but I'm not going to fold the program because we lost to Iowa State in that fashion.
Yeah, there was thanks for reminding me, because people definitely want to fold the program.
Yeah, it was
after that. And then followed up with news that Wes's name is in the top of the coaching carousel. And it's like I wouldn't wish bad on myself in that result to be petty, but with some of the hot takes, and it's kind of like, well, you guys see, you're talking, don't you're gonna get what you wish for. I don't want it, but
I'm so glad you brought that up, because we didn't even game plan for that, and that's some major news there. if your coach is at the top of someone's list,
Mhm.
like especially like I'm not saying like I wouldn't
Mhm.
consider Ohio State a blue chip program in any way, shape, or form, but they have won some national championships here in in our lifetime.
They got the backing.
Yeah. So and they've got money,
Mhm.
and they've got a fan base. If they want your coach, odds are your coach is pretty damn good
Yeah.
or very promising, still very very young within the game
Yeah.
and life. So yeah, I'm especially not trying to lose him to Ohio State. Like if North Carolina came calling, I would get it.
Yes.
Like it's one. I mean, it's North Carolina. It's like
It's home.
It's home. It's one of the meccas of college basketball now
Yeah.
with its history. I get it.
Yeah.
I'd be real perturbed
Mhm.
if he would go to Ohio State.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was a little tangent we didn't
Yeah,
even
no, it's fine.
kind of
It's
plan
good.
for.
College structure.
I'm hoping Mick takes the job because things are not going well in Westwood. He was on that list, I think. Let's hope he gets that interview.
Let's see. Norwood Tech's coach also on the
Oh yeah, that would be weird. I don't know.
Be
I didn't
hilarious.
know.
Yeah.
If he burns Xavier twice, that would be so funny.
It's funny because I had mentioned, and this is getting off tangent, but I had mentioned that like they were talking about how Helm and Steele were on were on
Travis
the list.
Steele,
Yeah, it was on the list, and I was like, I had mentioned, I was like, yeah, both those guys kind of deserve to not be coaching D1 ball right now at this point. Maybe D2 because they definitely had some scandal. I mean, Steele was a little bit more of a fall guy a little, but with the recruiting scandals back in with Adidas and I was like, I kind of mentioned it. The Xavier fans did not like that in the chat, but I mean, it's kind of true.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, but basketball is different now. It's a different college sport is different now. So
yeah,
I kind of let bygones be bygones at that point. But yeah, no, you don't want to get what you wish for in that situation. And Wes, he's young, like you said, he's going to tell it like it is in his pressers. Like you think he likes losing? He's obviously mentioned it and said it to us, but like that guy does not like losing. Like you can tell, you can see in his demeanor how he carries himself. Everyone wants to ship him out. Well, I don't say everybody, but you got some loud, hot takes. Asking them to be shipped out and to move on. Sometimes building programs just take time. It doesn't happen overnight for schools like us where we're a brand, but we don't have the backing to instantly turn a program around like that. You gotta be a little more slow and steady. But on the happier pastures,
let's talk about a win. Let's talk about a win. Orlando Tech, the Hilton Night Managers.
Disneyland Branch Campus
Butlers, I don't know, whatever you want to call them. We beat them again, the season sweep, and we did so in dramatic fashion, 76-74 on some late game heroics by none other than Jizzle James, whose father may or may not have been in the crowd. Apparently he is a Where's Waldo, hard to find and identify type of guy. And then we had Simas coming in clutch as well down the stretch. This game made me nervous. My heart was beating, skipping beats as I was watching this on Saturday. It was stressful.
Yeah, I thought my worry going into this game was like, okay, well, we beat them dramatically at home and then kind of tore away at the end because they just kind of fumbled the desperation attempt when they played us at home here. I thought they'd be looking for some heavy revenge. Two teams familiar with each other. That we were just going to have to be prepared for a rock fight. I think the pundits thought that too. That was just going to be just the classic old school pit game where we had, where you set basketball back a few years and it's nothing but defense. That was not the case. We started off really hot. And I ask, just one more for once, please. If we're crushing a team at the beginning, pour it on. Like we just cannot seem to blow out a team when we have the chance to blow them out. It's so weird.
Well, I threw this out in the Discord,
Mhm.
maybe on Twitter. I jumped on a post game Twitter Spaces and talked about it, and right along that same line, Darin, we're up. I don't know, we're up double digits. Dan has 10 points. I don't know if he's missed a shot yet. He's on fire. They literally have no answer for him whatsoever.
Yeah.
He's on the verge of taking over the game. Like he
Yes.
could have by halftime. It's hindsight's 2020, but what like at halftime maybe he had 20 points.
Yeah.
But Wes subbed him out in the middle of his hot streak.
Yep.
Like I don't know if he'd missed a shot. He's got 10 points, dominating the game,
Mhm.
and he subs him out. And I don't know if it was, I don't know why. Like someone like maybe he was tired. You're not tired when you're dominating the game. You have adrenaline going. You're a top tier D1 athlete. Like there's no way you're tired when the shots are falling like that and no one has an answer for you.
Yeah.
He gets subbed back in a couple, I don't know, long enough for him to fall out of his rhythm.
Yeah.
And he starts out 0-4.
Yeah.
Once he's subbed back in. That really made me mad.
Yeah.
I'm obviously it's several days past the game and I'm still mad about it because
what minute they sub him out? I forgot what exact minute they.
It was probably around maybe this 8-9 minute mark, I would guess.
I mean, you could be pushing the rotation at that point a little bit, but maybe leave him in. Maybe he caught something that we just missed.
Yeah, but
I trust Wes on that to a degree. But I feel what you're saying. He's hot. You don't want to destroy the hot hand. I get it.
And like you said, stay on it. Step on their throats.
Mhm.
Like it just seemed like okay. Like it seemed like all right. Let's get Dan out of there. Like we're up. We're good. And it's like they took a breath.
Yeah.
And by subbing Dan out,
it just fell apart.
Things just didn't. Offensively, they didn't flow. But they didn't get back in that flow right away with him out. It made me mad.
Second chance too. Like when going into the second, coming out of the second half, we had another chance too to pull away again because we hit we started to a little bit. We went up like 14 at one point.
That was the highest lead of the game.
Yeah, like it was like 49 or 40, 49-35. Like that was the point there where we should have, and then UCF just got hot enough, start making stops, and not for like lack of effort. We out rebounded them, but they still had 33 rebounds. In a game like this, where like
what's their big man's name? He I'm impressed by him. He blocked Aziz.
Oh, Diallo.
Yeah, man, he's tough. He reminds me of like a Big East Louisville player. Like it seems like he's just like you certainly don't want to face him in a street fight, and on the court he's just tough. You're not going to get anything easy with him around.
Yeah, I mean, in that same breath, we focus on Aziz, but Jamil.
Yeah, buddy.
Millie, like I was done with him for a second.
Mm-hmm.
He turned it on just at the right time because he had 2 crazy bad turnovers.
Yeah.
Right before he just turned it on and started, snatching balls out and, making great reads. I was like, okay, well, you proved me wrong that second. But he was dangerously close to because like that's kind of when they started kind of rolling back into the game a little bit. He had like just 2 like energy given like turnovers almost back to back to them. And it's not the thing. It's like, players don't turn the ball over consecutively sometimes, but like in the fashion they happened, like one was just snatched right out of his hand, it's like, but no, then he just turned it on, something clicked for him and he, got big, got tough, was distributing the ball, had a few shots falling for him too. And really, really helped carry that game. There's some unsung heroes really in that game. But yeah, no, we made it dramatically close. Freaking, Darius Johnson, not that he had like a crazy amount of threes, but he had some distant shots still that were, pushing beyond the arc where they were just falling for him. And I even said, you saw me saying like, we cannot let Johnson get hot. He's getting hot. 16 points contribution for them. Again, not like he went all for a bunch of threes, but like a lot of his shots had some air on them and some distance, and they just were dropping in for him. He's a good player. He's a good ball player. He can take those contested shots pretty well. So,
speaking of UCF players here, every time UCF made a play, the camera panned over to their bench.
Yeah.
And I have not seen that many punchable faces since I've looked at the Xavier roster. All of them have very, very punchable faces, and I couldn't believe that there were that many. It was just one right after the other. I was like, oh my God, where do they get these guys?
I mean, that's just a testament to his team. I mean, there's a fight we'd lose. Let's be real about that. But no, I mean, that's just a testament to his recruiting, honestly. That he gets guys that just get in your head, gritty, tough, just dig at you the right way. I'm pretty sure Allen did Allen foul out, I want to say.
Yeah, I think so. They definitely had a foul out.
Yeah, he's probably definitely one of those guys you're talking about. Just does the
that
right
white
thing
dude, number 0. That dude, oh my God!
Everybody's got a vibes guy that does a lot of talking when things get hot, and he was one of them. But no, like again, dramatic fashion. Again, like I said, you wonder when's the chance we can just put one of those games away against a quality team where it's like we have the chance to just step on their throats. Rivalry game, regardless. So it's going to get chippy. It's going to be dramatic.
BJ Taylor, I think, was the color commentator.
Yeah.
I don't know if that definitely last name Taylor. I forget his first name, but he played with Taco Fall and that team.
Yeah.
And he was, talking about which I kind of enjoyed and appreciated, talking about the rivalry that went back to that era of UC and UCF. And, I liked hearing, his insight on the thing. So this is like, yes, it's going to be a football rivalry. But it's quickly becoming a whole school rivalry.
Yeah.
And that basketball history there with his teams and Taco Fall. And that was Johnny Dawkins Jr. He played there, didn't he?
Yeah.
And then now it's a cool storyline that Dawkins is the Duke guy and Wes Miller's the UNC guy. So that's a little, added little piece to it as well. So I think beyond that though, Darin, I think there's 3 storylines to talk about here. And 2 of them I want to ask you about now.
Okay. Yeah.
Does Dan need to be a full-time starter the rest of the way?
Ooh. You know what? Before we get into that, let's just cap off the end of the game.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, to cap off the game, they had a chance. You wondered if they were going to. I think that it was on everybody's mind. They were going to shoot the 3, and are we going to foul them when they shoot the 3? It's going to go in, and I think that was the dread, right? You can feel the vibe, like this is going to go in. They're going to shoot 3. It's going to hit, and they're going to get fouled for 1.
Did Aziz foul him?
I mean, who says? I'm going to investigation, right?
I can't believe they didn't call it. To be honest with you,
I know.
The only thing that might have saved us is Bandango was in the air without a doubt. He's off both feet. The dude shooting it jumped into him.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a rule like it is in the NBA. The shooter can't initiate contact.
That could have been it, maybe.
But at Orlando, and they didn't get that call at home.
Mm.
I could have seen it. I could have if he would have made the call, I couldn't have been mad. But I think the only thing that saved us is him jumping forward into Aziz ever so slightly.
I think they were prepared to let him play because they knew it was going to be a physical, just last second play there. I think they were prepared to let him play too. And then, not just that, the timeout, the phantom timeout he tried to call.
Oh yeah.
I was like, I saw him I'm like, if they give this to them,
they didn't have one though.
They did have, but the crazier things have happened, and because he was 100% trying to meta game there.
Yeah, I mean, they'd have gave him if the ref would have gave him the timeout. I mean, that's still our ball. We're shooting free throws for the technical. So
yeah, if they call, that's what I'm saying. He tried. That was the last ditch to see if he could get it.
Yeah.
But luckily he did.
What about the Jizzle in the clutch?
Yes.
And he was one of these other storylines that I
Yeah.
want to ask you about here after we
Let's
finish
roll
this and
until
talk
now.
about
No, let's
talk
roll
about
until
Dan.
yeah.
He that little hesitation step. He hit him with it twice. One at the 3-point line. He hit him with it.
Yeah.
Got to the block. Hit him with it again, and then easy layup.
Yeah.
I mean that just looks so smooth.
Yeah.
Smooth. Broke that out at the right time.
Yeah.
I was pretty pumped after he hit that.
And even when he got fouled and fell into the, did not know this, the president of First Watch or CEO or owner is a Disney Tech booster.
Okay.
At one point on the radio, they were like, because Jizzle went up, got fouled, and like went into the stands.
Yeah.
And apparently fell into the lap of, I guess, the owner of First Watch. Food's terrible in my opinion, but that's, well deserved. But yeah, to answer your question, to put a ball in it, good game. Dan Skillings, yeah, I think so. He's growing into himself. I mean, young talent, obviously. He I think he's earning himself starting minutes. If not next game, it's coming soon if he stays consistent. I think Jizzle he's not going to be a starter yet. I think he works great as a bench guy. He just does for the time being.
Okay.
Day-Day's got a little bit more of that edge. So
let me phrase it to you this way. Not a starter yet. I'd probably agree with that. Last 4 minutes of the game, it's crunch time.
Yeah.
We're in it. Do you trust him more than Day-Day right now?
Hard to say, just because not that Day-Day is that much more experienced,
Mm-hmm.
Day-Day he draws some good fouls. I will say that. He's a little bit more worked into the system. So I think that's kind of why he gets the nod a little bit more. But I'm almost afraid to mess with that mojo because just Jizzle is such a good shot of energy to pull out when you need it. And then at that point you put him in. You put him in at the end of the game. Like if he's provided that battery, he's got the motor going. He's wheeled because it's been more than a few times at the point where he's just willed us to either some wins or comebacks, or is the one fighting hard enough to keep us in a game because he's just built like that. So yeah, I mean, it's starting to get there if it's not there already. Where he did earn the back half of that game, didn't he? He stayed in.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't regret that at all at this point. I guess it'll be the better question. It's just, I mean, again, he comes from a background of just competitors, a father who's accomplished in the world of athletics. So maybe that's just ingrained in him. But it's impressive, just the grit he has. He still makes some freshman mistakes. Those have started to kind of diminish as he's gotten more playing time and been coached up throughout the year. But just the go and the passion and he's not afraid to just go at it. And I think because of that confidence is why a lot of those shots end up falling. And people kind of tend to pull off him a little bit too. I don't know why. Maybe they're afraid of getting the foul. He's just so quick, I think, that they don't want to get trapped, and it just works out. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So it's just been impressive. And of course, Skillings they're just both growing into the players that we know they can be. And as they do that, they become more confident. They make less mistakes. They're getting coached up. It's the back half of the year. We're pushing into March soon. I think we'll have our answer come tournament time, if not the last few games of the season, on both of those guys.
So let's sort of transition into this bigger picture, Darin. We're at home this Wednesday against Oklahoma State, sitting 11-14, only 3-9 in conference, but they just beat number 19 BYU, so that's a little confidence booster for them. 3 of the last 5 for the Bearcats are on the road.
Yes.
One of them against Houston, the other one Oklahoma, who's still in the top 25. We talked about this last time we talked Bearcats hoops. We can go back and sort of revisit that as well.
Yeah.
But what's the Bearcats got to do to because right now they're projected a first 4 out team even after beating UCF on the road as a quad 1 win.
Yeah.
Still projected as the first 4 out. What do we got to do to get off this bubble and leap forward?
Yeah. Of course you want, like I said, we needed 2 out of that stretch from West Virginia to all the way to the end of Iowa State.
Yeah.
Because we needed 2 out of that stretch. We lost one we shouldn't have lost to West Virginia. And I mentioned we needed a surprise win to steal one from one of those teams. We stole one against Texas Tech, but we've lost to West Virginia. It's over. It's done with. That was weeks ago at this point. But UCF, essentially, we just need to be so looking at our conference here, right? I lost it. Where's my there we go. Looking at our conference, we got Kansas State, UCF, Oklahoma State, West Virginia. Basically, everyone who is the Bowermark Conference. Basically, we are as it stands. Texas as it stands is the best of the worst in our conference right now, in terms of how we're ranked. Looking at who we got left to play, outside of Houston and Oklahoma, we are facing the bottom half of that conference. We need the best of the bottom to get in. We need to beat Oklahoma State, Kansas State, West Virginia. No ifs, ands, or buts about it, for sure. That's going to put us at 20. And then we need to look convincing against Oklahoma State and Houston, basically.
So this was just shared in the Discord.
Houston. Yeah.
This just shared in the Discord from Gross Mata 58. I don't know if I'm saying that, if I have the vowel pronunciations off there, but he shared this as we were recording here, Darin. It says, so the UC Bearcats odds to make the NCAA tournament by win total. So we're at 16 right now. If we win 1 out of these last 5, we have a 0% chance of making it. If we get to 18 wins, we have basically a 1% chance of making it. If we get up to 20, we have a 65.3% chance of making it.
Yeah.
So taking 4 out of these last 5 is a tall task. If we only get to 19 wins, if you take 3 out of the last 5 here, you're only looking at a less than 20% chance of making it. So to be solid, leaping forward off the bubble, you got to take 4 out of these next 5. That's a tall task. I can see 3 for sure, but that's going to require you taking care of business against TCU on the road, who is a solid team. West Virginia has already beat us once. Kansas State at home, I feel pretty confident about. They're tied in conference. Jerome Tang is he's had a lot of issues there with a lot of things going on. Definitely underperforming this year. But then you got to beat either a top 5 team in Houston or a top 25 team in Oklahoma. Damn.
We need it. Basically, we need to go. We need 4. We need 4. Well, actually, what's this? 4 out of 6. Actually, I think, right. So we basically have to come out on top against the unranked teams all the way at the end there. We gotta beat Oklahoma State. TCU becomes our most important away game down the stretch. Yeah, because that's our most likely. That's our best matchup and best possibility to win going on the road. Because everybody else, Kansas State and West Virginia and Oklahoma State are all at home. TCU becomes which is weird to say. Your unranked opponent becomes your most important game, but as far as capability of a must win for sure,
Oklahoma, I mean, that was a close game here
Yeah.
in Fifth Third. I mean, I think that we ended up losing by 3 or 4
You're
points.
going to still one for sure. To guarantee, I mean,
Yeah.
you're going to either have to win. You're basically going to have to win either 3 out of those 4 non-ranked teams, plus still a ranked win, or you're going to have to beat them and look close against those 2 ranked teams.
Let's look at it at a different way here, Darin.
Yeah.
As I'm looking at our schedule. Okay, so we have not. Okay, so to pull this off, let's call 20 the magic number, like in baseball. To get to 20, you got to beat Oklahoma State at home, and you have to beat TCU on the road.
Yeah,
that would require. So the Bearcats just won on Saturday. That would give us a 3-game win streak in the Big 12. We have not done that yet this season, and the last time we beat 3 teams in a row this season started with Stetson, Evansville, and then BYU. So it's been a minute since we've won. We've had a 3-game win streak, which is just a different angle to look at it. But
yeah, for sure.
I mean, you feel okay if you lose to Houston again, top 5 team on the road. Although, I mean, last year I think Temple beat them at home in Houston last year. So crazier things have happened. 1, 2.
Yeah.
You got to find a way to take 4 of the last 6.
Yeah. Hold that thought for the people at home. I'll be right back.
Okay. As Darin runs somewhere to do something here, I'll filibuster here by myself. If I'm picking the 4 games for the Bearcats to win to get us to 20, again, 20 gets us a 65% chance to make the NCAA tournament, according to teamrankings.com. So Oklahoma State, got to win that. That's at home. You got to win at TCU.
Yeah.
You beat Kansas State at home, and then you beat West Virginia at home. That gets you to 20. I'm just picking my 4 games here, Darin, as filibustering.
That's why that West Virginia game we lost, and then probably like that Texas or Oklahoma game before becomes more important, or just like losing to Xavier. That those 3 games became really important down the stretch, and I always figured 21-22 would have been like the safe number for us.
For sure.
A good season for us. So now we're fighting for 20. So
if you're talking about 22 wins, Darin, according to this, that gives the Bearcats a 98% chance to hit the tournament.
Yeah.
21 gets you to 92%.
So some of those drop games from earlier in the season, those would have been
comes back, bites you in the ass.
Yep. Especially in conference, it's tough. So
yep.
Shout out real quick because we forgot to mention him. I think Simas is starting to roll into as a reliable player.
I have him.
Obviously Newman's just steady as just your senior leadership, but I think our offense is starting to get generate with Skilling, Simas, Jizzle, and then obviously Aziz is just good on the interior there for some of those rebound shots and high shots that don't go in. That seems to be where most of our productivity is coming from. So we're starting to see finally it really settle into the bigger picture here. And now to the elephant in the room, black sheep, Vic.
What is going on with Victor Locken?
Well, I mentioned before, like I think some of his shot selection, and this is obviously you don't know what's in someone's heart and in the what's going on in the locker room. Practice every day, things like that. It felt like some of those shots he had taken before he started to get his minutes reduced even more was him just trying to get it all back. Those threes we saw him taking, it feels like he was just trying to get something going for himself again, and all he needed was just one to really lift himself up. At least that's the mindset of a competitor, in my opinion. When you falter. You just need that one thing to go right to spark. You need that jump to get the car running again. Meanwhile, the rumor mill is, well, it's not so much a rumor. I mean, according to Terry Nelson, I guess you could call it rumor. According to Terry on the broadcast, Vic allegedly. Yeah, I think people have heard it. Let's not.
All right.
Let's not. But he alleged that Vic does not practice how he plays, and Wes is a guy who is very much practice how you play type of guy. Not in those exact words, but basically Vic is not putting in the effort to practice, and he's not in love with practice. Crazy if that's really the case. Early in the season, it seemed like Vic kind of had the team on his shoulders, and he was going to be that dude, that leader. He was getting a lot of praise, getting a lot of interviews, and even coming out last year, we were relying heavily on him. And at some point, I think he's kind of lost it. Obviously he disappeared a lot in the rebound game once Aziz really got integrated. It was hard to run both of them on the floor at the same time. Not quite sure why, but it just, I think Vic started having trouble finding a role in that. It's just rough. I mean, we brought him in for, the theory is we brought him in for size for that specific play of defense, when he got into the game, his first minutes of the game. Obviously you hope things work out for him. You never want to see a young man falter into what he loves. So
yeah, I don't see until he was in 6 seconds max at the Central Florida game. I don't, unless something can always change. He just is not. When you put him on the floor with Aziz, or you put him on the floor with Millie, he's just not. I don't think he's athletic enough to be the 4 that we need him to be. When you're comparing him to the athletic abilities of Dan Skilling. Dan Hoard is not maybe on the golf course, but of Skillings, who is that can run in from the 3-point line, grab an offensive rebound, and just has all the athleticism in the world. Who also is undersized at that position, but plays the position. I don't think Vic is. He's not adapted well to moving to the 4 on this team. Yeah. And when you have those two giants in the paint, it clogs things up. Yeah. And then we fall in love with a 3, which we all hate, and things don't turn out well for us. I don't know what Vic's path is to more playing time now. I don't know what he has to do to to get things together and get his minutes back and get his production back, which is what the team misses the most. Yeah, because he can be a double machine. I just don't know what that is right now with 6 games left in the regular season. We'll see how Miller plays it, but I'm kind of at a loss for Vic since he was out with that illness. He's just not been the same.
Yeah, no, he has not clicked back in, and but getting minutes back is going to start with him getting his production back, though. He's got to start showing.
Catch-22, though, right? I need minutes to be productive, but I'm not going to get my minutes until I'm productive. So it's like,
well, and if the rumor is that he's not practicing well either, then
it starts there.
Yeah, but then it's also like kind of cycled back into itself. He's kind of shrunk inside himself, and then maybe practice isn't going well at that point either, because who knows what's going on with my athlete. We got a whole expanded a field of sports psychology now for these very reasons, right? So we wish him the best, because it also obviously brings the team its best, but also you just want to see someone do well for themselves. So
we went 53 minutes on Bearcats basketball. Like, I think we could keep going. I think easily we could. I mean, there's just so much going on, and there's a lot of hype, and we're playing meaningful games in mid-February and into March, so it's fun. Let's hit on the Lady Bearcats here.
Sisterhood, love it.
And there's some. We'll talk maybe just a minute on baseball and a couple other things that are coming up in the near future as well.
Yeah.
But tell us about the Lady Bearcats. What's going on with them, and where they sit. I think they have 4 games left in the regular season.
Yeah, not having a good time right now. They're on a 3-game skid. They did beat UCF twice. That was the last win, 67-61. I also figured that would be another revenge game that they'd want, because we kind of dramatically beat them the first time. But no, they showed up and showed out for that at the end. And then just, BYU 69-57, Kansas 75-60, and then TCU, which you're hoping that you could be a little bit of a get right game. I mean, obviously they've started working people back into being healthy at TCU. but they won 79-72. Just a lot of turnovers on our in that game for us. We had 12. They had like five or they had 6. They just were just a little bit more consistent than us, and when it came to the shooting from the floor, 40 for field goals, and then 40 for 3-pointers. We were 44 for pushing 45 for 3-pointers, but 36 from the field goals. But then we even shot pretty good from the free throw line. We just didn't get sent to the line very often, which is the problem. Yeah. I think we had 2 attempts at the free throw line, which was crazy. Oh, actually, no, sorry. Bench had 2 attempts from the free throw line. So, like, all our stars were getting sent to the bench or sent to the line. But I think they just made the points where they just basically made the points where they needed to. We didn't convert enough. 73% is great, but we left 7 points out there on the board on that portion. And it's crazy because they're 3-11 in conference, and we're 4-10. So, you were really kind of hoping them to catch TCU, trying to claw back into it, because at that point they were on a 5-game skid. So
TCU's had a rough season. We've talked about that before on here. They've had devastated by injuries this year.
Yeah, and to be fair, the last 3 games before us were a gauntlet, though. They played all ranked teams. Texas put the hurt on them. It was crazy. But go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was just going to say they sit 12-13 right now, 4 games left. You got to think the goal is to be 500.
Yeah.
For the season, that's kind of a tall task, I guess, when you have 2 top 25 games left, and one of them's against Baylor.
Yeah,
Baylor. But I would like them to see them get to 500 or as close as possible. To say, year 1 was not a losing season under Merriweather. I think that would be definitely a sign of growth and progress for the program. So I don't know if they can do that with Oklahoma, Texas Tech, Baylor, and Iowa State left. But that would certainly try to get us close to.
Because even Texas Tech kind of put the hurt on us. I mean, to be fair, Texas Tech is.
They beat us by almost 20 the first time.
Yeah, I mean. We won against Texas Tech, but you just don't know how you're going to catch them.
You're right. My bad. That is I can't read or see colors right now.
No, it's fine. It's fine. No, we won against Texas Tech, but you just don't know. I mean, they have a better record, but you hope you can catch them again. So your hope is Texas Tech, and then a good hard fought game against Iowa State. The hope would have been win all 3: TCU, Texas Tech, and Iowa State for us somehow. To finish, at 500, but this season isn't a loss. I think we acclimated well. I mean, we're unfortunately bottom of the conference a little bit, but the fact that we won some games at least within the conference is a good start. We just played a gauntlet this year too. I mean, you played a ranked team in Colorado, North Carolina State, Kansas. I mean, the Big 12 itself is just full of ranked teams. Oklahoma worked their way up into being a ranked team this year, and they beat us pretty handily early on in the season. I think it's been a pretty good. The experiment's been successful. You're hoping the seniors can at least go out, okay, fighting against Baylor. I think TCU would have been it though, the big send off. Who knows? Maybe they can snatch one against Oklahoma. Catch them off guard a little bit. But I mean, they also have just played hot since they got to the conference play. And they only lost 2. So
they got 2 games this week. We'll definitely. I want to try to watch that Texas Tech game. I think that's on Saturday.
Might be able to get the team out there.
Our tournament game is this Thursday, and we got a terrible draw. So we're going to have our hands full, much like the Lady Bearcats in the Big 12. So we'll see if the season is still ongoing on Saturday.
Sounds good.
But yeah, could be a wrap for the 2024 season. And so, well, I won't. I won't get on a tangent about that.
Hey, you're coaching, man. You gotta have some faith here.
I do. No, yeah, I was. What I was thinking is some of the conference awards has started to be announced, and we have a couple girls on that, and one of them who's made first team all district. So super excited for her and some potential going into her senior year. But this is not a Coach Brandon podcast. We won't get into that because I could talk about that forever as well.
Could be a nice little end of the year pick me up. Get
it could
tickets,
be
to kind of whether you win or lose. So
yeah, let's talk baseball though before I get too far into it because I need to come up with a practice plan for tomorrow for our tournament game anyway. But Bearcats baseball, we did the preview. They went down to Jacksonville to play Jacksonville and dropped 2 in a row before the third game was canceled due to weather. The first game seemed like it was competitive. It was fun.
That was happening as we were
recording
live,
the preview. And then the second game of the doubleheader came about, and they sort of whooped us pretty bad.
Yeah, they were just line up, and I mean that kid they got Delgado was all over both games, just a threat for us when he was at bat. A threat against us when he was at bat. I mean they just had a good time against us, unfortunately, in that second game. Doubleheaders are weird. Like I said, I thought it was not a doubleheader because the way the coach talked about it, Coach Bishop talked about it, was there was a start Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for some reason. And maybe that got changed, and I just didn't catch it between then. But, doubleheader, not good. I mean, a few people were watching in the Discord that second game. So it's good to have some eyes on it. I think, like Coach Bissell mentioned, the leadership around the university wants to win in baseball as well. I think we're being empowered by the conference that we're in to be competitive in these other sports. And I think baseball is sort of that next project to get rolling and get going. Obviously, it's tough because we're rebuilding, and after also coming off of not such a competitive tenure before that. And also, I playing back into this, the CFP appearance, all those, a few years ago now, I think really pushed the alumni and students to see what else is out there and what else is possible for our other teams. I think that's really helped generate some excitement too. You saw more kids going to our club hockey games and things like that. I think that's happening with baseball, especially with the Reds being okay, but having what we consider incompetent leadership. There's been a hunger to see what else is out there. And, being people who want to pay attention to our university and support these other student athletes. I think baseball is a good venture for that. Unfortunately, we got smacked by some Dolphins this weekend. So we move on to Northern Kentucky this Tuesday, tomorrow. It's going to be a 3 p.m. game. Catch it on the Big 12 now. Had a chance to really do a preview of that, so sorry about that. But I think we usually have played pretty competitively. I mean, we've won 37 times against them to 15, so the series has been going on for a good while. We're on a 4-game winning streak against them right now, so let's hope we can keep that going. I haven't been able to look to see what their program's looking like this year, but nice little local matchup if you're off early. Pretty sure it's going to be at home, so some good early action to see them play.
It is supposed to be a little warmer tomorrow, I believe, and then Wednesday super nice as well. I've been meaning to ask you, Darin, have you do you try your luck on the golf course?
Yes.
We need to get together and golf sometime then. Definitely need to make that happen. Sunday it's supposed to be really nice, and I'm hoping to. I'm fiending to get back out on the golf course.
Yeah.
I'm terrible.
Same.
I'm looking to break 100.
Yeah, I'm looking to break 120. So there you go.
Okay, so that will happen this summer. I promise. And I asked that because the Bearcats golf team, it will be in action next month in March.
Yes.
I'm super excited for that. We might do maybe a preview show of that as well, and try our luck talking golf. I'm still relatively new to the sport. I never played it growing up. Definitely waited until adulthood to get into it, but I'm kind of obsessed with it right now. Yeah. Looking forward to following the golf team as well. And really the last thing, as we've went over our time here, we try to keep this to an hour, but jam-packed episode, all type of things to talk about. The last thing to talk about, really, the announcement that the TBT tournament, the basketball tournament, is coming to Fifth Third Arena. I've covered that tournament with a press pass several times. Last summer when it was going on, I was in Michigan, which you can bet legally on DraftKings on the TBT tournament, and I won a lot of money as the Bearcats dominated that thing. I'm excited for it to be in Fifth Third Arena. Definitely hope to be able to cover that again this year with you. And we'll see if Jacob Evans, Jaron Cumberland can't go on another run like they did this year and make it out of the region and into the I don't know what the next. I don't even remember what the next level is, but they definitely had a chance to make a deep run.
Yeah.
And if we're not making runs in March, I'll take a run in July.
Well, you saw what that win against the Zip 'em Up did. People. Excited.
I made an appearance on a post game Twitter Spaces, and I had been drinking, and I was pretty excited.
Yeah.
It was a good time. I'm excited to see what that'll look like in Fifth Third.
Well, yeah. So I'm guessing we took that from Xavier. They didn't want to host at Cintas for the region anymore. I think they saw the excitement and said, "Yeah, let's take it."
Yeah, of course. You win the region, you get to host. Why not?
Yeah.
I like it.
Well, it's funny because so they've expanded. The basketball tournament has whoever owns that company. They've expanded what they're doing. So they started the soccer tournament last year.
Okay.
So yeah, that happens also. So I'm guessing they do a lot of their announcements around the same time because FC Cincinnati has an old team. A lot of as you see, it's a lot of alumni and stuff. So for the soccer tournament, there's a lot of collections of retired players. Like the U.S. women had a team. FC Cincinnati had a collection of guys who went down, led by Chad Johnson, or Chad Ochocinco, is also on that team. So they did announcements this week as well. So we have some former FCC players coming back for the Netty FC, and then Chad Ochocinco also announced that he's coming back to the team for their tournament this year. Their format is you play, I think, in group stages, and then best of like 2 of 3 or something like that, or 3 of them, usually advance. So it's a little 3-team round robin in the groups. So those usually go around the same time. So we got local TST, TBT teams, or the teams of former athletes. So.
Love it. Good stuff. We'll be back next week. We'll have a handful of games to talk about. The storylines will write themselves, I'm sure, and hopefully we're still talking about meaningful games that are coming up next week, and see if we can get a little closer to our magic number, Darin.
Love it.
All right. As always, cheers. Go Bearcats.
Cheers. Go Bearcats.